Terror Infinity. Want to know the meaning of life? Want to live a real life? The world shall change when you click yes. In God's dimension, you have to keep getting stronger, keep evolving to survive the never-ending horror movies. Will you kill everyone in your way to reach the end as a lone king, or fly along with your comrades and survive through the support of friends? Everything is just for staying alive, until you find the secret of God's dimension. Who is the true enemy? Volume-1. The Lamb is Western evil. Zheng always felt that he was dead in reality. Go to work, come home, eat, go to bed and wake up. He didn't know where the meaning of his life lay. It was definitely not in the face of his fast supervisor, not in that white-collar woman's body that he met in the bar, and not in the steel and concrete forests, the modern city. Zheng felt he was voting. He was going to vote from the age of 24 till the end of his life, then become a part of the earth and live behind a lamppost number, not even a name, since no one would remember him. No one would remember a little white color, whether he lived as a truly grateful person or just pretend to be one. He was just a tiny piece of this world. He wants to change something. He wants to have his meaning. Want to know the meaning of life? Want to live a real life? When he turned on his computer at work day, a message pops out. This was obviously some newbie hacker seeking attention. It would force you to download a virus, whichever option you choose. Zheng laughed at it and was about to close it. Yet, his heart skipped a bit when his hand touched the mouse. He paused. Want to know the meaning of life? Want to live a real life? Zheng felt a little lost. An indescribable force attracted him to put his finger on the mouse. Then he clicked on the yes button and lost consciousness. Cold, shaking. The moment he woke up, Zheng jumped up from the ground. He looked around in panic. The disparity of the vision of his office and the current environment caused a chaos in his head. But after a few seconds, he woke up from the confuse. Not bad. You have the best quality of the bench this time, a cold voice said. Zheng turned his head around and saw a black-haired guy sneering at him. This person was around 24 or 25, had a very common face, but the few scars on his head made him look horrifying. Black-haired guy held a cigarette in his hand and took a deep smoke. His vision then looked past Zheng. That was when Zheng realized there were 5 people lying beside him, 3 men and 2 women. Other than that, there were over 10 Westerners in this concealed room. This was the compartment of a train, and the train was moving very fast. The feeling of coldness and shaking were coming from the train. Where is this place? Who are you? Why am I here? Zheng asked these people. Furthermore, due to the percent of Westerners, he repeats it in English. The Westerners looked at him for a moment, then turned their heads away. Only the black-haired guy said to him, "Think carefully. It should have inserted everything into your head." Think carefully. Zheng tried to recall everything. He only remembered when he saw the pop-up on the scan. Want to know the meaning of life? Want to live a real life? And click yes, before he fell unconscious. Wait, Zheng felt there was something in his head, something about survival and life. This was a game. Whoever created this game was not known. Maybe it was God, maybe it was the devil, or maybe they were aliens or humans from the future. Now he had become a player of this game, or maybe part of this game. A game that brought together those who were lost in life, but have yet to become a Wharton person. When they chose this game, they would be transported to various scans in horror movies. It is Resident Evil 1 this time. Your luck isn't bad, newbies. Getting such an easy horror movie on the first time. Even when you die, it will be an easy death. The black-haired guy took his last smoke, then crushed the cigarette in his hand. Are you saying only our consciousness came inside the computer, just like in novels, and when we complete this game, our consciousness will go back to our bodies? A chubby dude next to Zheng asked. Black hair took out a gun, a Desert Eagle. While handing the gun, he said, "I don't know if it is consciousness or not, but you will feel pain, you will get injured, and you will die, and you were wrong. When you finish this movie, you will go to the next one. Maybe you have seen that movie or maybe not. Every time, God will bring in new members to replace those that died in the last movie. Every movie consists of 7 to 20 people. In other words, this is a very easy movie. We only have 7 people here." Chubby Dude said with a sneer. "How do you know those who died didn't go back to their body? Perhaps they chose to die willingly." Black hair raised his head suddenly. As for he had become a panther in this moment. He bends his knees, and in a split second he has already on top of the chubby dude. His Desert Eagle stuffed inside the chubby dude's mouth. Then would you want to try and die? Can you imagine that unending terror? I lived through 3 movies. The first one was Nightmare on Elm Street 1. There were 15 newbies in that movie and 2 experienced survivors. But do you want to know the ending? They all died in their dreams. Me and another person were the only ones that survived. Do you want to know how it feels to get killed by a stupid dream? Imagine everything around you becomes slithering water meat. You watch as a pair of scissors slowly cut through every bit of your body in a gruesome frenzy. Can you imagine the pain? You piece of shit. Do you want to die? Black hair was shouting like a madman. His intent to kill was so vivid and obvious in his eyes. The chubby dude was scared and unable to move, and with a gun in his mouth. He couldn't even breathe. Zheng and the other 4 people persuaded them to break apart. Black-Hair walked back to his seat and said, "Dying in a horror movie is a real death. Furthermore, when you die here, you will be tortured by the devils in these movies. So if you don't have determination to live, I advise you to kill yourself now." A girl with glasses said, "Then we don't have a way to return to our bodies?" Black-Hair said with a sneer, "I have been saying it is not your consciousness that came into the computer. Do you think humans have the technology to create this game? No, this is the work of God. We are nothing more than bugs in His eyes. We are thrown here to struggle just to entertain Him. Both our bodies and consciousness have been brought to this world and can't go back. At least I don't think we can go back." The glasses girl had a sense of calmness. She thought for a moment and said, "By your turn, it seems like there is still a way to go back." Black-Hair took a look at her and said, "The quality of this time's newbies isn't bad. You are right. There is hope to go back." Everyone stared at him. Every time you finish a mission, that is, you live through a movie, you will obtain 1,000 points. You can exchange these points for lots of things, such as the right to live in a movie for 100 days. Black-Hair said. A middle-aged guy said, "Who would want to live in a horror movie? That is asking to die." Black-Hair remained quiet. Glasses girl said, "No, I think I understand what he means. There are many genres of horror movies, sci-fi like Western Evil, where everything can be explained with science. You just have to go outside of where the main events are happening. Then the rest of the world is normal." Black-Hair slapped his finger. "Bingo. You can indeed live in another part of this world normally for those days. Think about it. After experiencing a couple of life and death travels, the chance to live normally in this world is a blessing." Zheng's body shivered. He thought he understood the meaning of this word a bit. Yes, the reason he was feeling rotten was because his life was boring. Once you experience life and death, then the mundane life would become what you wish for. Black-Hair continued. "Other than exchanging for time, there are many other things, such as this Desert Eagle with unlimited ammunition. It only took 100 points. That's 10 days of time. You can also use points to improve yourself, including intelligence, mental capability, reaction time, cell vitality, muscle density, and immunization strength. In other words, if you survive through this movie, you can double your strength. If you live through 100 movies, you can become a superhuman." Glasses girl asked calmly, "Let's get back to the points. How many points does it take to get back to our world?" 50,000 points. Black-Hair took out another cigarette. "If you don't use any points, you just have to live through 50 movies. Then you can go back." Suddenly, everyone quiets down. According to this guy, if you don't use your points, it would be impossible to live through 50 movies. Of course, 1,000 points is the basic reward of every movie. You can do side quests in movies to earn points, like when I explain everything to you, according to God's rule. Explaining to newbies will reward 100 points. You should have noticed that special watch on your hand. He waved his left hand. There was a black metal watch. Everyone looked at their own left wrist. There were a few lines of info on this watch. A timer that was counting down from 3 hours 7 minutes. A counter for zombies, lickers, newbies. You will get 1 point for every 10 zombies you kill, 100 points for every licker, and 1,000 points for every newbie. He looked at everyone with a wicked face. Only Zheng and the glasses girl looked back calmly at him. Of course, that's negative 1,000. Okay, if you have any other questions, hurry up and ask. This movie is about to begin. Glasses girl looked at Zheng, then continued. I have 3 more questions. I saw Western Evil. The ending is the T-virus from the lab spreading throughout Raccoon City. Then if we drive this car and leave the city, wouldn't that let us drive easily? Black Hair nodded and replied, Take a look at your watch. There is a name on the upper left side. Wicked. 1. Everyone wicked out. Then they noticed one of the Westerners had a faint glow on him, then slowly fade away. This is the leader of the mercenaries in this movie. This movie belongs to a specific location genre. The plot only happens in the lab. In this kind of movie, you are not allowed to leave the plot area or stay too far away from this case. If you stay further than 300 feet from one, then bang, you will have nothing left. Understand? Of course, when one is dead in this movie, this restriction will be moved to another case, Black Hair explained. Zheng then asked, Who is this God that you have been mentioning? God is the thing that manages our entrance to movies. It gives us points and you also exchange things for it. God is a ball of light. I don't really know what it is either. Glasses girl nodded and said, One last question. This number, what does it mean? She points to the timer counting down. This is the timer that you must stay in this movie. Once the timer is over, you will go to where God is and get your reward. There you will also wait for the next movie. The train started to slow down. Black Hair Guy finished his cigarette and took out his Desert Eagle. Okay, the plot is starting. The class will be able to hear our conversation now. Remember, if they hear anything not belonging to this war or spoilers, 10 points will be deducted for every sentence. Well, newbies, try your best to survive.